Hey guys, this is Deni as always. Thanks to the folks at Epic Games for lending their Unreal Engine 5 to everyone. So we have more and more games with amazing graphics. Today I'm going to show you some really impressive ones. Most will be with realistic and some just unique styling. Click on the like, click on subscribe if you haven't already, and then let's go.
Do you miss adrenaline and dynamic gameplay? The perfect place to get it all? Good old Crossout. Tense battles, dozens of different vehicles, and hundreds of parts for their customization are waiting for you. You can make a powerful, bulletproof tank and destroy your enemies just by the look of it. Or make something smaller, but fast, and get in the back of unsuspecting enemies. In any case, Crossout is the best place to show everyone who is a real pro. Download the game at the link in the description.
Let's start with an Unreal Nun, which we can see in the game, INDIKA. This is an adventure game, which will be passed literally in 5 hours. And the developer himself wrote about it, noting that the game is not stretching for the sake of stretching. Each location is unique, there is not even a reuse of assets, which is probably stupid from the point of view of production, but alright. The game has a demo version available now, and for free, the visuals of the game are above all praise, especially the camera and facial animation, both beautiful and scary at the same time. Developers are polishing the final version right now, working 15 hours a day. The release itself is scheduled for Q2 2024. Well, this game doesn't need any extra words. Unrecord spread in the networks immediately after the announcement. The shooter resembles a real recording from a dangerous mission. The faces of criminals are covered with mosaic, the camera is shaking, and the angle of its view is very limited. Unrecord's stylistics looks like a documentary chronicle, plus add Unreal Engine 5 features an animation of shooting and reloading. Thanks to them, the shooter looks like a real VR game, which adds immersion to the process. All in all, we are waiting. Beautiful strategies? What's that? When Manor Lords is released, you'll find out. This is a game which is made by one developer from Poland, and on the last version of Unreal Engine, but it looks like on the new one, it's medieval here, with the game not only being about building, but also about large-scale battles. This sets the game apart from competitors that may only offer construction or only large battles. For example, in the same Total War, some kind of clear and elaborate construction was not there, and the emphasis was just on battles. Here, the balance between them is maintained, and the graphics, as you can see, it looks even better. Death Stranding 2 visual part is a bomb. Although the engine of the game is exactly the same, it is called Decima. The first part also works on it. The project is directed by Kojima himself, so there will be no less genius twists and turns than in the first part. The main character is still the same courier Sam, although there will be enough other new characters in the game. At the same time, from the unusual moments, the trailer mentions that the settlements connected to a common network gradually become alien to each other. In addition, parcels are now delivered by bots. Therefore, in the world of Death Stranding, human couriers are no longer needed. How Sam will deal with this, we'll find out when it comes out. I promised you graphics not only realistic, but also stylistically unusual, and REKA is just such a project. First of all, what is worth noting, the game is about Russian culture. Secondly, the game itself is very atmospheric. You play as a student of the legendary Baba Yaga, and you will have to learn how to sorcery, as well as to walk around the world with its unique base on chicken legs. Of cool moments, the construction of the base, a matter solely yours. So collect resources, build a base, and then move it around the world. Was there something similar with moving a base? I honestly don't recall. Alone on the Dark came out 16 years ago, but we're not gonna talk about it because on March 20, the remake of that classic horror will be released. Horror movies in general are known for their graphics and atmosphere, even if they are made by small indie studios. And what to say when they are made by someone bigger. Here again we play as Edward Carnby or Emily Hartwood, and we'll be living the life in Derceto Manor, trying to survive. Battles with monsters, puzzles, exploration, and a great story written by the man who created the cult Soma and Amnesia. It's definitely worth the wait. Since we started talking about horror games, a few words about the upcoming small but very nightmarish adventure. For the first time cooperative, but still as dark and beautiful. Little Nightmares 3 looks exactly on the same level as the previous ones. With a mountain of scary creatures that are hunting for our little ones, there are two heroes, Lo and Elone, and their main quest is to come out of nowhere. That's what the local world is called. I don't need any more words, it's a continuation of the legendary series. Tell me, how many strategies do you know in which you can move from the top view to one-person view battles? They can be counted on the fingers of one hand, but it seems that you have to add a sixth finger, because in front of you there is a new outpost, Infinity Siege, with a gigantic level of development. Not only does it look very interesting as a strategy game, but with the one-person view, the game looks like it was originally developed as a shooter. Billions of explosions, mountains of different guns, lots of crafting, the ability to climb into mechs and whatnot. It's all about defending your main base, because it's partly tower defense. And the graphics are like that. For the same reason. It's Unreal Engine 5, and now it's possible. Are you missing something Italian or maybe some Souls-likes? If it's a 100% hit, then for you, the new Entropia. The last song is coming soon. It's an action RPG with Souls-liking elements. You're maskless here. A little later, you'll see why it's called that. We are transported to a land called Entropia, overrun by Canovaccio, a madcap perpetual play. In a world inspired by Italian folklore, you will put on the masks of defeated opponents, switch between 3 collected sets of equipment, invent builds, and combine talents. Along the way, altering reality, solving puzzles, and trying not to die, because the game, again, is quite challenging. There are enough beautiful games in the world of Warhammer in general. Think of the same Dark Tide or Vermintide. And soon they will have an addition in the form of Space Marine 2, the game which is waiting for if not all, then almost all Warhammer fans. Shake action with unreal visuals, a mountain of enemies, and the power of men. Well and play for one of the greatest warriors of the Emperor. Mountains of blood, hordes of Tyranids, and most importantly, beautiful graphics. And this is the new, very beautiful Metro Awakening. Right up front, there is one nuance here. The thing is that the developers announced not a continuation of the same Metro, but a game for VR. And apparently, now, the most beautiful game in VR in principle, because the visuals and atmosphere here are just on the forbidden level. I think that it will surpass Half-Life Alyx on the head, though that was extremely atmospheric. Developers promise that the focus on VR will sharpen the gameplay experience. The mask is covered with condensation, the stock of ammo and filters is coming to an end, and the flashlight blinks on and off in the pitch blackness. And then there are the monsters, and that's about it. Sounds like something awesome. This one doesn't sound like something awesome, but it's hard to pass up. S.T.A.L.K.E.R certainly raises questions, but let's consider the game solely from the side of atmosphere and graphics. If you take the visuals, it's not bad, especially since we know that the world in the game is open, facial animations at the level, and in general everything is okay. The main thing is that the game is not transferred for the millionth time, as these developers usually do. And this is until Dawn, the developers of which decided to transfer their game to the PC and at the same time not badly pull up the graphics. Developers remake the game on Unreal Engine 5, so technically it's a remake. So they will even add new locations for exploration, additional collectibles, reassembled story sections, a full-fledged third-person camera, and a few other little things. Plot-wise, if anyone suddenly does not know, the game tells about a group of teenagers who return to a secluded mountain cabin where two of their comrades disappeared a year ago. Well, who will survive to the end directly depends on our actions. And a few words about the upcoming Monkey King. This miracle should be released in August, if there are no further postponements. The engine is still the same, Unreal Engine 5. That's why we are waiting for photorealistic locations, volumetric smoke, ray tracing, and other features. Plot. Here is the basis in the form of a classic Chinese novel Journey to the West, about a monk and the king of monkeys. In the book, by the way, our hero has 72 abilities. How many developers will add to the game is not known, but gameplay is a typical Souls-like, and the battles remind Bloodborne, Nioh, and Sekiro in many respects. They are just as fast-paced. There will be no open world, which in my opinion is good, because in this way, developers can focus on the details of locations. That's why the game looks very good. The main thing that finally came out. Well, that's all for today. I hope you found something interesting for you, and therefore clicked on the like and subscribe too. With you was as always Deni, and all the best.